Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Saba Show, and today we've got round 11 of the Dice Footy Championships. The last round before the bye for some teams, so they will be wanting to go into it with some momentum. This is the ladder. We saw a lot of movement last round. We're seeing some really weird shenanigans where fucking the Crows, who have won one game, have 92%, and the Swans have 98%, and they're in second place. Make it make sense. Crazy shit going on. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the show. Weekly thing every Thursday. You're seeing some mad stuff going on in this Dice Footy simulation thing. But without further ado, let's go. So first game of the round couldn't be more lopsided. It is Sydney taking on Richmond. Sydney start off pretty well here. 4 goals, 3 for them. Richmond, can they respond well? Yes. Richmond pick up a win and all of a sudden they're back in the hunt for the top 8. It's one of those things. It's one of those seasons. The Swans pretty much replicate what they did in the first quarter. The Tigers go one better and will lead at the main break. They're up by 14 points. Second half. And Swans doing all right. I'm very stuttery right now. Richmond, I mean, they had the lead for a lot of the first half, and bang, they are down in the blink of an eye. And the Swans have potentially won this game. In fact, they're going to need 6 goals, 6 from Richmond to see our first tie of the year, and we are not going to get it. I mean, the odds are that low. Richmond went down with a fight, however, couldn't get the job done. Next game up is Brisbane taking on GWS, and we start things off at the Gabba with Brisbane, who kick 5 goals, 4, and for GWS, who actually have resurrected their season, I guess you could say. Started pretty awfully, but they have sort of wrestled back a little bit of momentum. The Lions have started really well here, though. They've actually been one of the big movers. We're under the radar for a lot of the season, and all of a sudden have just picked up a little bit of form. Obviously, it's not the pointy end of the year yet, but it's a good sign. Things pointing in the right direction. However, that third quarter was not. And look, the Giants could have actually made a big move in that third quarter, but unfortunately, they backed up Brisbane's pain with a bit of pain of their own, and ultimately they're going to get punished, and they are going to lose this one pretty convincingly if they don't kick 6 goals themselves. They get close to that, but unfortunately they are not going to be picking up the points. Instead, they're empty-handed, and the Lions keep moving up. Next up, we have 2 teams who just do absolutely everything in their power in this simulation to lose games, and it is Geelong taking on the Crows. The Crows have won 1 game all year, and they're going to be looking to pick up some points against the team who, I mean, will give them the opportunity to win. No worries, no doubt about it. But the Cats have started, well, they started really well and have dropped off since. And the Crows, they can keep up the momentum, but guess what? They replicate Geelong. So neither team wants to win this game so far. And what does the third quarter offer? Well, Cats with a pretty mid third quarter performance. And let's see if the Crows do better. No. They are 100% playing like the worst team in the comp right now. And Geelong can finish him off, and well, I think the job's done now. Actually, no, it's not. If the Crows kick more than 36 points, they would have won. They would have won. It was achievable, but unfortunately, they're garbage and they lose. D's have been in free fall, and they have an opportunity to halt that and pick up the points against the bottom 4 side in Fremantle. They start well. They've got to defend well, though, and they do that in the first quarter. Usually I speak things into existence in this series, so wow. What a terrible second quarter by the D's. I mean, I should have told them they were going to kick well, and they probably would have kicked 6 goals. And would you look at that, the Dockers have kicked 6 goals. And I got to not get ahead of myself because I've got to put in the other input. and they kick it behind. So Dockers up at halftime. The D's, I don't know what's going on with them. Started extremely well this season, and yeah, could be potentially outside of the 8 by the end of the round. And with a third quarter like that for Fremantle, I would pencil it in. I would pencil it in. Could be a big loss. I mean, that's just a terrible second half by Melbourne. And I don't know what they're doing in the coach's box, what's happening with the players. You know, serious shit needs to be looked at. And the Dockers win by a lot. Next game, we've got West Coast taking on the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs are in first and are pretty much clear of the rest of the comp. The Eagles start all right, and they need to pick up points because, yeah, there's an opportunity here to also ascend, given how other teams have been able to do the exact same thing, so that would give them a little bit of confidence. Second quarter by them is not too bad. They've got to hold the Dogs, though, to a pretty low score to take the lead at the main change, which they do not. Yeah, they don't do that, and the Dogs have kicked very accurately, and usually that comes with a pretty good reward, and that's ultimately the 4 points. Third quarter by the Eagles is much better. Much better. Wow, the Doggies, I mean, they could have run away with this, but they're actually trailing at three-quarter time. However, the Eagles just return the favour and have an equally shit quarter. And the Dogs, I mean, they need to kick, I think, 4 goals to win, and they're going to get it. They are going to get it. They've been let off here by a team that isn't as good as them, and they ultimately get the 4 points. We got Gold Coast taking on Hawthorn. Two sides who I cannot get a gauge on, given they're constantly zipping up and down the ladder. They've been in the top 4, and then they've gone as low as bloody 13th for no reason whatsoever. But only in the Dice Footy world. Only in the Dice Footy world. Gold Coast kicked 8 goals 5 in that first half, and the Hawks, much more inaccurate, only trailed by a goal though, so they will be confident they can make amends and win the game at the end of the day. And the Suns, 75 points to three-quarter time. Hawks, well, they've been pretty inaccurate, but they haven't really dug into the margin at all. I think it's the exact same as it was at three-quarter time. However, the Suns put this game to bed, I do believe. That's a very big last quarter and a really accurate last quarter too. So making the most of their opportunities, and Hawthorn merely are just trying to trim the percentage that Gold Coast are earning, and the Suns win by about 20 points. Sunday fixtures now, and St Kilda taking on North Melbourne. Both sides have been interesting as well. North Melbourne were pretty shit at the start of the year, but they've actually snuck into the 8 recently on the back of some big wins, and unfortunately for them, they trail at quarter time. But the Saints, second quarter for them, not much better than the first. Actually, it's pretty bad. It's worse. North Melbourne, man, they've also had an opportunity to gain ground, but they still only trail by a goal. Keep in mind, it is a goal. St Kilda are actively trying to lose this game. They've kicked under 50 points in 3 quarters, and if North don't kick 6, there we go. They've kicked 6 goals. 6! Wow. And that ultimately has just broken the game right open, and St Kilda respond. North are going to have to kick 2 goals. They have to do something in this last quarter. St Kilda challenged them, and North were up to it 100%, and they closed the game with 6 goals of their own. Never in doubt. Collingwood v Carlton next, and this has been a pretty mediocre rivalry in real life, given both teams have been shit for God knows how long. Let's see what the Dice Footy world has to deliver with this rivalry, and it is living up to the name so far. 5-point margin at quarter time. Second quarter is good by Collingwood, very good. 5 goals 5 for them, and the Blues kick 6 goals 6, so even better. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more exciting. 2-point deficit at the main break. Both teams above 65 points. And the Pies, I mean, Jesus Christ, this is high scoring. both teams could easily kick 130 plus, which is just nuts to think. However, I've just jinxed it, and the Blues are the team that are the victim. And the Pies can just complete the task. However, they do not. The Blues are still in this. They need to kick 5 goals, 1 to tie. And they kick... As a Carlton supporter, I'm really devastated. Fair play to the Pies. Below Carlton, Carlton will dip, you can imagine, and Collingwood will rise. Last game of the round is a top 4 clash, and I mean, these top 4 clashes are just coming every single week because a new team is always entering the top 4. The Power start unbelievably well, and the Bombers do the polar opposite, kick the absolute minimum you can get. Second quarter for the Power. This could be a very big win, by the way. That first quarter's really set it up. If the Bombers have a really shit second quarter, they could be in a lot of trouble. However, they do. I mean, really, do they? I don't know. The Power, 2 goals, 4 in that third quarter. So the Bombers, I mean, they still can win this amazingly enough. They're only down by like 13 points, which is just nuts to think given their quarter time deficit. However, the Power, I think, have put this game to bed in what was supposed to be a really highly anticipated contest, and the Bombers close out pretty disappointingly. So ran out of gas, and the Power win pretty well. And so here is the standings after round 11 going into the byes. The Crows have lost 10. The Bulldogs have won 10. We're actually seeing a little bit more separation. I mean, a couple of rounds ago, you would have seen like 10 teams on 5 wins, which was nuts. But we are getting a little bit more segregation, as I just said. Carlton were in the 8 a few weeks ago. Now they're out. The D's were in the top 4 a few weeks ago. They're out. I mean, it's going back and forth, left and right. What the hell's going on? North Melbourne had been sitting in the bottom 6 like all year, and in the last 2 weeks are now in 5th position. Brisbane were in that same area. They're 4th. Honestly, anything can happen. The percentages are so even. No one is above 107% apart from the Bulldogs, and no one is below 87%, 88%. So it's really tight. It's going to be an absolute ripper. It's going to come down to the final round, you would sense, if there isn't more separation involved. So going to be interesting. Hope you enjoyed this one. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It's going to be a ripper to see, as I said, what the outcome of this season will be and who's going to win it all, because at the halfway point it's bloody confusing. So hope you enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.